Voldemort, what is going on? When you look at the time, it is that time of year, and basically what that means is you're in Disney, so it's a little hard to communicate. We had the podcasty thing, but you texted that you weren't feeling so great. Now, if you remember last year, I had forgotten to do my video on New Year's Day last year, so I had that punishment where you bought me that magnet from Disney that said I'm late for everything. Anyway, so the football postseason is now starting. And we have a whole bunch of chaos that happened in the last couple of weeks. The Patriots decided to lose games, and Chiefs decided to keep winning. The NFC was win, lose, win, lose. The Seahawks came like that close to getting a touchdown with like 12 seconds to go in the game on 4th and goal, and they failed. Speaking of the Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch is back, the longtime fan favorite who then left, went to Oakland, didn't do so well, retired, and now he's back. We'll see if Beast Mode will be ready for the playoffs. Patriots were losing, so now they dropped to the 3rd seed after being like number 1 for so long, and then when the Ravens decided to just sort of keep winning, the Ravens sort of took over that. Steelers were in position at 8-5 with 3 games to go, and they couldn't win any of their last 3 games. Mostly because they have nobody left on the roster, really. On offense, the Steelers, they really don't have a quarterback. They had Mason Rudolph, they had Big Ben at the beginning of the year. When he went down, Mason Rudolph sort of took over. Then he wasn't doing so well, so they benched him in favor of the Duck, Hodges. And he was doing okay, but it was really the defense that was carrying the team. But he got the start for like a couple games, and then he came out. Rudolph went back in against the Jets, and then Rudolph is now done for the year. So Hodges came back in. The Steelers just couldn't get anything to go. Connor wasn't even healthy all year. He missed like half the games. Juju kept dropping passes when they were like the most important. Still finished 8-8 with like almost nobody there. I mean, the defense was still pretty decent, but defense can only do so much. And I know there's like a lot of talk like, oh, Mike Tomlin, this and that. I mean, for considering what he has to finish 8-8, I think this is like the 2nd, maybe the 3rd time he's finished 8-8 in his years as a Steelers head coach. Nonetheless, it's very impressive considering you don't have basically anybody. I think the Steelers should keep their ways and keep Mike Tomlin, Chuck Noll, Coward, now Tomlin. I mean, you don't get that much consistency very often. But speaking of consistency, that is not something Sam Darnold does with the Jets. He's just Jets. I knew when I looked at their schedule that it wasn't going to be very good, at least the first half, and that they'd win 1, maybe 2 games. They beat the Cowboys, and that was pretty much it. I thought maybe they could get the Bills or something like that, but that didn't really happen in that first game. I figured in the back half of the season, the last like 8 or 9 games, they'd win maybe 5 or so, and they ended up winning 7 games this year. Jamal Adams is a fantastic player. He's great. I hope he stays for a while. The Jets need a lot of work. They need a better offensive line. They have Le'Veon Bell, who we saw with the Steelers was very good, but they don't really have that good of an offensive line. Sam Darnold panics too much. He doesn't really look at his receivers. He doesn't have much awareness. And that's sort of like the big problem there. I mean, when I was watching the Steelers-Jets game with my dad, defense they had with TJ Watt and those guys, they should have just blitzed Sam Darnold every down, and they just didn't. They weren't Blitzburg anymore, and Darnold was able to scrape by. They're lucky they won those 7 games this year, but considering how hard of a front end of the schedule, I guess it sort of balanced out a little bit, but Jets are nowhere near ready. Darnold is not the answer. He's not very good. He has way too much more work. I would have rather, all season I was rooting for the Jets to lose, just so that basically they could get a better draft pick and maybe get a better quarterback. But, well, what's another 50 years for the Jets being a quarterback away from a Super Bowl? Voldemort, I'll see you later.